right, everyone. Welcome to the Sports Card Therapist, where I give you a behind the scenes look at my hobby hustle and sprinkling some self care and wellness on top of that. I'm Rob Gerard, your sports card therapist. And whether if you're listening to me on iTunes, Spotify, or watching on YouTube, welcome to the podcast. I know I say this a lot, but the best way to reach me, the best way to follow me, keep up to date, or just say what's up is to follow me on Instagram at Sports Card Therapist. But I do want to say that I actually have been getting more active on Twitter lately. So shout out to everyone who I've interacted with over the last like few weeks or so. So if you want to follow me on Twitter, I am at card underscore therapist. So at card therapist underscore in the middle. And so yeah, and I want to give a big shout out to Dave from Extraordinary Cards for coming on last week. Last week was episode 95 of the Sports Card Therapist. And even though I know that on his end he did have some microphone issues, I think that his audio just wasn't that great, and got a bunch of feedback on that, but still great conversation nevertheless. Big shout out to Dave from Extraordinary Cards. And then before that, we had on Josh from Card Ladder, Drake's PC, had on Jeremy Lee. Then I did the national recap. So it's been a busy couple weeks over here at Sports Card Therapist headquarters. And whew, man, episode 96 is here. Episode 96. I'm super excited about today's episode. I'm trying out a new segment, and this segment is going to be a regular occurrence for season 3 of Sports Card Therapist. We're only 4 episodes away from episode 100. I still can't believe that I've been doing this podcast for 96 episodes. And I can't believe that you guys have continued to tune in and listen or watch. I just have to say I truly appreciate you guys for continuing to tune in. And there's really no way to put into words how much it means to me. Coming up on 100 episodes, it's a complete surprise to me. I feel like this number just kind of crept up on me, and that means I've recorded 96 episodes in about 14 months. That's incredible. It's truly become a part of my life and just a part of my regular routine. So I'm trying out a new episode today, or I'm trying out a new segment on today's episode. This is going to be the first time this drops, and it's going to be called Let's Make a Deal. So what I'm planning on doing is, in season 3, once or twice a month, I'm going to drop an episode called Let's Make a Deal. And it's going to be talking about deals, specific deals, breaking down the inside, the outside, the good, the bad, the ugly, every excruciating, minute detail of that deal. So I'm going to be bringing on guests. I'm going to be talking about deals myself, all of that. So today's deal that I'm going to be talking about is my deal, and it's a deal that I made for a 1961 Fleer Bill Russell in action. However, this is an autographed version, and it was an in-person autograph, PSA DNA certified, and I'm going to show the camera right here. Here it is. So if you're watching me on YouTube, here it is. However, if you're following me on Instagram, you probably remember me posting this about a week or so ago. So this is the 1961 Fleer Bill Russell in action with an in-person auto, PSA DNA certified. This is only, with the autograph, this is only a Pop 18. Pop 18. So that makes this card really cool. So if you've been a listener to the show over the course of the last 14 months or so, you know that the tagline of this show is, well, actually I have 2 taglines, I guess. The first is take care of yourself and your collection. However, my main tagline, I feel like, has truly been, and this is something that people message me about all the time. It's been about goats over prospecting. I've always talked about goats over prospecting. And I say this because, to me, I feel like my investment in this hobby, it's a lot more secure when it comes to goats. And to get even more specific, vintage. And so, and when I say goats, I could be talking about Steph Curry or LeBron James or Tom Brady, but specifically though, I'm talking about vintage for the most part. Now, don't get me wrong, I've done some prospecting in the last year or so, and I've actually been successful a couple times, but I realized that my success in prospecting was mostly luck. And I don't think I'm some sort of genius when it comes to prospecting and when it comes to this hobby. So when it comes to investing and putting my money in there, I want to go with what feels like a safer thing. And for me, I get most enjoyment out of this hobby from collecting goats, which directly taps into my nostalgia. I've talked about that plenty of times. I don't need to go into that again. Anyways, I digress. I spent the last year, right, with a Bill Russell 1957 Topps rookie on my watch list. Obviously, I could have pulled the trigger on one at some point in the last year, right? There always seems to be at least one or two of them available on eBay. But typically, when it comes to a card of that magnitude, it's the old saying, like, I know what I have. That usually comes into play. Also, people typically, when they have a card of that magnitude, want way over recent comps. So I've not been able to find up to that point, right? I hadn't been able to find the right Bill Russell Topps rookie auto, in my opinion. So you can expect my surprise when someone hunted me down at National and approached me telling me that they had a Bill Russell rookie they wanted to sell me. I was like, what? So again, shout out to Cody, who's a listener of the show. He had told his friend, oh, if you want to sell that rookie, you should probably go check out Sports Card Therapist. And that guy sure did, and he found me. So that was pretty cool. So after closing the deal on that rookie at National and getting my second 1957 Bill Russell rookie and the 1961 base rookie, both from auctions. So I get the 57 rookie at National. Then I get another 57 rookie from a auction, and then a 61 Fleer from that same auction. So, and if you guys know anything about the Bill Russell, right? He only had two he only had 2 years of playing cards. That's it. And that's because basketball cards were not a popular thing. I think that these trading card companies were not sure if they're going to be able to make money off these cards, how much of a market there was. So there was 1957 Topps. Then there was 1961 Fleer. And those are the only 2 years, the two sets that Bill Russell had playing year cards in. So I knew I needed to complete my playing year collection of Bill Russell with his 1961 Fleer in action. So the first place I always look for a card is on eBay. Like most of us, eBay is the place that if you want to get an idea of how many are on the market, typically I'll go to eBay, right? I'll go to eBay, I'll check to see what's available, and then I'll also go to check under their sold listings to see what maybe some have gone for. So as I continued looking on eBay, I came across a couple Bill Russell in action cards. Right. But then as I'm scrolling, I started seeing a couple that were autographed. That kind of stopped me in my tracks. So if you're familiar with the 57 rookie, an autographed copy, usually people are asking at least 20 to 30K for. However, for these cards, for the inaction cards, I was seeing that they were going for between $6,000 and $10,000. So 6 to 10K. Now, this led me to start thinking about the fact that even though this 61 Fleer in action is probably out of the 3 cards he had during his playing years, out of the 3 cards, this is probably the least important of the 3. However, it's important because it's a Bill Russell playing day card, right? But if I could manage to get an autograph version of that card, to me that felt like that would be a really, really cool step up. So I reached out to the guy. I messaged the guy on eBay, and not so many words. I asked him, hey, are you available? Or, hey, I'm interested in this Bill Russell card. Are you on Instagram or Facebook? But the thing is, eBay has like this algorithm where they'll flag the person sending the message and the receiver if they see like words like Facebook, Instagram, blah, blah, blah. If they feel like you're trying to make a deal off of eBay, they'll flag your account. So people get suspicious of this. So what I try to do is I'll type in, "Are you on FB or IG?" question mark. And I actually put a space in between the FB and I put a space in between the IG. So that does I've never gotten flagged for asking someone that. So he got back to me pretty quickly, which is good news because I think a lot of you guys know when you reach out to ask a question on eBay, it's kind of like a 50-50 chance they won't even respond. It feels like their silence or their lack of response, like if you reach out to someone, is either their way of saying, listen, either click buy it now or keep it moving. You know what I mean? So anyways, the guy messaged me back very quickly, tells me I can go find him on Facebook, yada, yada, yada. Track the guy down on Facebook, and we start messaging. As we're talking through Facebook, he told me it would be easier just to text him, and he gave me his phone number. I was pretty happy about this. I said, okay, this feels like this could be going somewhere. So his asking price on this card was $6,000. So he was asking $6,000 for this on eBay. This Bill Russell autographed in action card. And again, if you're watching on YouTube, I am holding it up to the camera right now. He's asking $6,000 for this. Now, let me just say this. When I got this card, it was probably about a week after he had passed, a week after Bill Russell had passed. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, Rob, I've been after Bill Russell cards way before he passed. He's an absolute legend. Now is probably not the best time to be buying his cards because there's probably there's definitely a spike in his popularity ever since he passed. So typically I would have the patience to wait and maybe wait to see if prices came back down a little bit. But the thing is, with a card as rare as this, a card that is only a pop 18, with a card as rare as this, once someone purchases this card, there's a good chance it might not ever become available again. There's a good chance that cards like this are going to get locked away in people's collections and it might not ever see the light of day again. So, in my mind, I'm saying to myself, Rob, you're going to be paying a premium because, rest in peace, Bill Russell. Bill Russell just passed. But that didn't stop me because I said, there's only a handful of these. I want to get my hands on one. So I'm text messaging with the guy. As we're talking, he told me that many years ago he started collecting the 1961 Fleer NBA set. That ends up that's a lot of people's favorite set of all times. That's one of my favorite sets of all times. I mean, it's an iconic set, right? It's considered a second year Bill Russell playing card. You have the Wilt Chamberlain rookie, the Oscar Robinson rookie, the Jerry West rookie. You just have it's iconic, right? The Elgin Baylor rookie. I mean, I could go on for days. So it's an iconic set. So he said it was his favorite set of all time. So he started collecting them and started having them autographed. He would send them out. He would have friends that were going to get them signed, blah, blah, blah. So he had a few Bill Russell, a few Jerry West. He told me that he also had a 61 base version of the Bill Russell card autograph. So he had, hold on, I'm going to turn around and get this because I have the base version as well, but it's not autographed. So he has this card as well, autographed by Bill Russell. So he immediately, my head's like spinning, my mind's turning, right? The gears are turning, the gears are working. But he told me he wanted a minimum of 10K for the base version. And you know how you get when you start like jumping to ideas when it comes to cards, and immediately you start upgrading yourself because you know there's a better version available. Then before you know it, you're completely priced out of what you were originally looking at. Then you just decide to give up and move on. That's almost where I was at on that card. In my mind, I'm like, okay, how can I free up 10K cash? He already told me he's really not open to trades. How can I free up 10K cash in card money to be able to acquire? And so I'm like, my mind's going, and I'm like, you can, listen, don't start turning your life upside down. I started thinking, so I stopped the delusions of grandeur of getting the 61 base, and I stuck with the idea of getting the inaction card. So he told me he would be willing to take half of the 6,000 amount he was asking on eBay for the card if I paid cash. So if I was paying cash, he would take 3K cash. I told him that the best I would be able to do was 2,000 cash. He said, I need to get 3 for it. He said, I need to get 3. Basically, it felt like we were at a standstill. There really wasn't much else to say. I was hoping that he would be willing to meet in the middle at 2,500, which eventually I asked him and he declined. So, like, about a day later, I reached back out to him through text message and said, listen, I know you said no to 2,000. You said no to 2,500. Um, would you take 2,000 in cash and 1,000 in trade? He stated he'd be willing to entertain that, but it needed to be liquid cards so that he could immediately sell them for cash. He stated that he was selling some of these cards so that he could get the money for a down payment for a new house. And knowing that I was going to be buying from a guy who was trying to buy a house really made me want to close the deal with him, right? And at the end of the day, it doesn't matter. Like if he's putting the money back in the cards, if he's buying a house, if he's paying for a wedding, if he's paying for his kid to go to college, whatever the case. But just knowing that he said, no, listen, I'm trying to, this money's going for a down payment. I said, I really want to close a deal with him. That's at least what I said to myself. So I texted him over a few pictures of some cards I had. However, he said there was really nothing that I had that he felt strong about, right? Because now I'm really just texting him cards that are like in that $500 to $1,000 range. And he's like, no, I'm not really seeing anything. Then in the last ditch effort, I told him that I had my Michael Jordan Scoring Kings and a BGS. Did I have the BGS 8.5? I'm trying to remember. And, as I'm actually recording this right now, I'm actually going to my Instagram to look it up because I had posted the entire Scoring Kings set that I had gotten not too long ago. Yeah, so I had a Michael Jordan Scoring Kings 8.5. BGS 8.5, but comps were right around like I think 850, 900 comps are around. So told him I had that. He immediately said, you know what? I would take the Scoring Kings with that Joe Burrow cracked ice card that it was in the first batch of pictures, right? So that actually added up to like $1,200. So it actually put the value at about 3,200. But I was fine with that. We made the deal. So made the deal. The guy was super nice about it. Just really cool, so we actually talked on the phone for like 20 minutes, a half hour. And his name is Ken. So if Ken is listening, shout out to Ken. And I was faced with some pretty big questions for myself during this negotiation. First of all, over the last 6 months or so, I've started set building. And I've talked about in other podcast episodes that I was super excited to be able to get that complete set of the insert set of the iconic 1993 Scoring Kings, all of them Beckett graded between BGS 8, 8.5, and BGS 9. So giving up that Scoring Kings Michael Jordan, which is one of the most iconic inserts of all time, was a tough decision. However, as I looked at it, though, I knew that I wanted that Bill Russell auto, the in action card, more than I wanted to have the complete set of the Scoring Kings. Also, that Bill Russell is only a pop 18. I would imagine there's hundreds of that Jordan Scoring King card out there in that grade, or really because I have that full complete set in all BGS 8, 8.5, or 9, I can now I'm looking at, the ability to really get any of those grades for the Jordan. So it's like I probably have close to 1,000 different cards that are out there, a pop of between those grades for the Jordan card. So to me, looking at it like that, it definitely made it a lot easier. And I've talked about how you are who you hang with, and not just that you are who you hang with, but the amount of information and the kind of information that we are receiving on a day-to-day basis. And I think about having Drake on, right? Drake's PC, and had him on talking about the Hulk Hogan PMG, and the idea of just talking about rarity and scarcity, and knowing how rare and scarce that in-action card was. That kinda sealed the deal for me. So, that's it, I guess that's it. So, got the in-action card. If you follow me on Instagram or even Twitter, because I actually posted something up on Twitter as well, showing like, I did a cool post on Twitter, something that was something that I had no idea if anyone would even see it, because I think at that point I had like 100 followers, so I'm like, I don't even know if this will resonate with anyone. But about 3 days ago, I posted, "This is what 2 years of hard work and hundreds of deals look like." And I posted a picture of my top 11 cards. My top 11 cards, all that I've acquired. And now that I'm looking at these cards, I think I've acquired all these cards in 2021, or sorry, 2022. So it's just been the culmination of a lot of deals. And even though I only had 100 followers at the time, it ended up getting like 12 retweets, which I know is important, and it got like almost 200 likes, which is cool. And just because I posted that one thing, my Twitter following doubled. So I'm not much of a Twitter guy. I know that there's some really cool threads on Twitter, and luckily I have, some people that will tag me in some of these threads, because they're just pretty pretty good stuff. And so I have people that'll tag me in these threads. Shout out to my guy James Lumen. Um, he'll tag me in these vintage card threads. Someone will post like, "Hey, post your vintage cards for sale," and there'll be 100 different people that respond to that thread. And you could just scroll through the thread and look at all the vintage cards for sale. So, kind of cool. I don't know if I'm going to be a Twitter guy, but that's about it. Definitely looking forward to the next few weeks. We have episode 100 coming up. I'm going to be set up at the East Coast National in New York in less than 2 weeks. So that's going to be great. Just looking forward to it, man. I'm still set building my 1951 Bowman set. So if you have any 1951 Bowman commons, star players, let me know. At this point, I'm probably not going to make a move on the mantle, or the Jackie Robinson, or the Willie Mays yet. Those are the big boys. But all the other ones, man, I'm just filling in. I think I want to say about 400 cards in this set. I have about 70 of them so far. So I'm slowly chipping away at the 1951 Bowman baseball set. Super excited about that, man. So thank you very much for tuning in, guys. Sports Card Therapist every Monday, every Friday, and I try to, when I can, drop a Wednesday episode as well. So if you haven't already, please hit that subscribe button, whether if it's on YouTube, Spotify, iTunes, wherever it is, however it is you are watching or listening, please hit that subscribe button, because that is huge. That is huge. And I love when I drop a surprise episode and my streams don't go down at all. Like, I don't even see a dip in the streams. And that tells me that that's because just about everyone that listens or watches the pod is probably subscribed. So that's pretty cool. So that means I could probably drop an episode any day of the week and people are still going to tune in, which is extremely humbling. And I just appreciate that so much, guys. Hopefully you're getting something out of this. I know I am. Thank you for tuning in. Take care of yourself and your collection. Have a good one.